Hey guys, today we're doing a review on my aks74n. I'm going to tell you why I decided to choose the E&L brand of AEGs. If you dig far back in my YouTube, you will see videos that I posted regarding real firearms. I have been a real gunsmith for several years now, and predominantly I build the AKM and AK-74s, AK-74Ss, the whole 9 yards. I'm big into the AK platform of rifles. So with a lot of research that I've done, brought me to the E&L line because of the accuracy. So in this review, I'm going to break down what I feel are the strong points and maybe some inaccuracies of this particular firearm, so that if you are in the market to buy an AKM patterned or an AK-74 rifle, this may help you choose. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna let you get a large look at the rifle there. This is one of my recent bakelite mags that I've recently completed. I'm gonna remove this and I'm gonna go over the complete rifle for you and let you form your own opinion. This side, and we're gonna work our way back, and I'm gonna tell you what I feel is accurate and inaccurate about the rifle. First thing first, it does have a steel muzzle brake on it, which is removable, and it feels of good quality. It is very heavy, very good quality. Does have 24mm threads, and just by looking at it, it does seem to have a very accurate metal front sight post. We're going to move our way to the rear, to the gas block, and that gas block also looks correct for this era of AK-74. Now this brings us to the hand guards. These are real wooden hand guards, and I feel that they look really good. One thing that stood out to me as an inaccuracy is, if you notice here, we have a vented upper and a non-vented lower. Technically, you see on a lot of AK-74s that if you have this vented upper, you should have a vented lower here to correspond with each other. Not the biggest thing in the world, but we're talking about accuracies of the E&L rifles. All right. Now we're going to come to the selector marks. These marks here I've seen on Type 3 AK-47s and the Chinese AKs. The Cyrillic writing is correct, but these selector notches are incorrect. This rifle should have the small angled notches as all the 74 rifles have. So we're going to move our way to the selector lever. The selector lever is an accurate representation of a selector lever. Looks pretty good. Now let's get to the rivets on the rear. One thing that stands out to me is there is supposed to be a hole right here. I will drill a hole there when I take the gun back apart again. This rivet head is supposed to be round for all the Bulgarian and the Soviet rifles. And as you can see from the picture, you're noticing a bluing to the receiver. The Soviets Parkerized, then painted their rifles, so that would be another inaccuracy. Again, no big deal. We're going to go to the trigger guard. The trigger guard for a 74, it should have a dimpled trigger guard here for the 74s. Again, no big deal. You know, I'd like to see a little bit more tension on this latch, but it's getting the job done as it is now. So the grip, as you can see from the video, it is a brown color. That is not correct for a Soviet rifle. The Bulgarians used a brown grip. The Russians used more of a bakelite reddish grip. Still plastic, but this is what you would consider incorrect. I can tell you this about the buttstock. It does have a ribbed buttstock on the rear, which on Soviet rifles, depending on the year of manufacturing, you would see a flat and you would see a ribbed. I can tell you this about the buttstock of this rifle here. It is very, very well made, very robust, and it locks into place very firmly. There is no wiggle, rattle, jiggle, anything out of the buttstock. It is very firm and assembled very well. So as the real rifle functions, this one does the same. Like I said, there's no wobble in it, so you will depress the button. Bring the buttstock forward, and it latches securely. All right, let's take another look at the receiver. So this is a video about accuracy. The Afghan rifles that use the wooden hand guards with a triangle buttstock, it's not common to see them with rails. This is inaccurate. Another cool thing I can say about this setup, this particular rifle, is it does have 3 visual pins, meaning your standard pins, and then this would be your full auto pin. So that's accurate. The dimples are good representations of Soviet dimples, and these deep weld marks, which I've replicated on real firearms, those look good. Now, I may be wrong in saying this. I need to look at my history, but I do not think that Tula manufactured the AKS. I'm pretty sure it's an Ijevsk-made weapon. Tula did manufacture the Krinkov, but it did not manufacture the AKS. So that is incorrect, I believe. If I'm wrong, please put that in the comments section. So, and another common thing, which I know and I've done, is it's very common to see proof marks around the barrel pin. And I've had to add them on many rifles, but it's a Soviet thing. So, we're going to get to the top cover. The top cover is a good representation. It's got the early reinforcement ribs. Very accurate. I'm impressed with it. Let's go to the sight leaf. The sight leaf almost feels like a real sight leaf. It is robust. As you can see here, I've drilled another hole there to access to be able to remove the barrel easier. Just one of my little modifications. But the sight leaf comes off just like a real AK, AKM, AK-74 rifle. It does have the spring leaf underneath there that needs to be removed, or I should say can be removed. So that's a very accurate representation of the AK platform. So I'm going to remove the top cover so that I can get to the gas tube and show you that. As you can see, I have a Titan 2600 milliamp lithium ion battery crammed in there. So let's get that disconnected. Get this removed. Let me say, guys, this does not fit in an unmodified rifle. As you can see, the battery is a little bit scarred up because I've had to do work to get it to fit in that hole to be able to make it fit in this rifle easy. So a little bit of modifications, and this Titan 2600 fits right in. So I'm going to remove the charging handle. I'm going to show you how that's done. It does have, you do slide this up as you would on a real AK rifle. Lift it up. You're going to remove the spring. And this comes out in one piece. Set that aside. Now I'm going to remove the mock charging handle. So take the weapon off of safety. This slides back, up and out. That's going to allow me to remove the gas tube. And the gas tube is impressive in my opinion. Removes just like a real aks74 gas tube. All right. Now, if you look at this gas tube, as I've held literally hundreds of these in my hand, it looks like a real gas tube. With the exception of this cut, and what this cut is for is when you're using stick NiCad batteries, they have the joining line that runs down them to connect the batteries, and it'll fit into this groove. But this gas tube, it's heavy. Man, this could almost be a real gas tube. The wood looks real, and I am very confident that a real upper handguard would fit on this rifle. These spot welds, they are accurate. They should be there, and they look proper. So looking down into the handguard, it has the correct lever that needs to be rotated to remove the lower handguard. But before you do that, you have to remove the cleaning rod. Set this aside. We're going to take this little lever. We're going to rotate it up just like on a real rifle. Slide this forward, and this is the inside of your lower handguard. And again, this looks just like a real lower handguard on the inside. The color of this is just a tad wrong. I mean, it's nice, but it's just a tad wrong. But this handguard, even the tension spring here is correct. So this is a very, very good representation for accuracy. Even has a drainage hole right there on the bottom. That is your drainage hole. That is accurate also. You can even see the laminate in it. Very, very good representation. There is your, and you can tell, guys, just by listening to this, it is very heavy. I did watch a video where a guy claimed that he feels these are real AK barrels that have been drilled out to accept the airsoft inner barrel. I don't believe that. I have looked in there, but I just cannot see that being a real barrel. One thing I thought that was funny is it's drilled on the bottom. This is something common that I've seen with the demilling process on real rifles. So let's go to this rear sight block. As you can see, it's pinned just like a real rear sight block. Gas block is pinned, and these pins are removable and they are pressed on. Very impressive. Same thing with the front. It does have the tension spring to hold the booster on, or the muzzle brake. And again, you'll see the same pins holding on the accurate front sight post. For the folder AKs, They have to have this latch on the front to latch your buttstock. Right under here is the appropriate latch pin and location represented right there really nicely. And this is a Gen 2, so you can see the mag wheel spacer right there. That is really nice. Oh, one thing I forgot is we have a very nice bayonet lug. So this has the two correct bayonet lugs to mount the proper bayonet to the rifle. Super, super cool. As you can see, I did rewire this rifle to a Dean's plug. I think they're a lot more reliable, easier to use. I'm a fan of Dean's. I use them on all my RC cars. I think that's going to sum up my breakdown of the AKS. Hang tight and watch the shooting video, guys. Thank you. All right, boys and girls, we're going to start this video off at the 50-foot mark. I feel no need to get any closer than that. We're testing a AKS74 with a 11-1 Titan battery and a 130 Garda spring. As you can see, those BBs are getting there very quick. Back it up. As advertised, 60 feet. Very, very straight shooting with this upgraded spring. .70-foot mark. Do it. Major difference on a 130 spring in this gun. .80. Got a couple flyers there. But again, really easy to put rounds on target at 80 feet. Back it up. Three for three at the 90. I'm gonna stand at this 100. There we go. Let me kick you over sideways a little bit so I don't stand in front of that camera. As you can see and hear, that BB is making it there very quickly, as it should with a with an upgraded spring. couple flyers, but we do have a little bit of crosswind, but easy engagement. The 120. Couple misses, but many on target at the 120. Little high. I'm almost thinking I'm a hair over hopped because I'm aiming low now at this point. I am over hopped at this point. I'm gonna get another couple shots in there. "100% over hopped." Right about 5 foot, I'd say, before it gets to the target, it starts to sail up. So we're gonna push this 140 mark as we did with the other AEG. Cattywomp there. Let's get it. All right, let's see what we can hit at 140 in semi. 140 feet. I say that is very accurate. They're going straight, and like I said, I believe about maybe 5 to 10 feet in front of that target, they're beginning to climb. So I'm aiming a lot lower, and I could remove some of the hop up. Just sailed right over the top. Let me tell you, let me reiterate. That is a 12-inch wide by 18-inch tall target that I'm hitting. And I believe that's extremely impressive for a factory barrel of an AEG. That is a decent grouping, in my opinion. Let's give it a little full auto burst. As you can see and hear, that was not working hard at all for that type of distance. All right, that's easy work right there. "140 feet, easy shot." These shots are gonna take place at 160 feet. We're gonna try to do a couple semis, see if we can put some on target, and then do some small bursts. Put a couple rounds on target at that distance. I think that's very respectable. There's a lot of wind at play when you start putting shots at 160 feet. Let's do some full auto bursts. Easy. A lot of rounds on target right there. All right, I'm gonna roll down there and I'm gonna move this thing back even further now. Let's see how much better this does with the added FPS from the 130 spring. Let's go back and watch the footage and see what we did.